Oh, yeah.
And I actually, I'll mute myself. Hey, welcome to another episode of Spear from the Past. Today we're talking about a pay-per-view which, when I was doing my research, many people consider this to be one of the best pay-per-views of all time that I've noticed online.
Sure.
But before we do this, I've got Austin here. Austin, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good, Malcolm. Thanks for having me. Yeah, this stretch, actually, Malcolm, of this 3 pay-per-view stretch of the Royal Rumble 2001, No Way Out 2001, and WrestleMania 17 is, I think, some of the best back-to-back pay-per-views this company ever did. All 3 of those shows are excellent. I mean, you have WrestleMania 17 also a month later that many people consider the best WrestleMania of all time, and 2001 Royal Rumble is an excellent show as well. So, this is a good show sandwiched in the middle that, I hope people don't sleep on. It's really good.
Yeah. But with that, as I always like starting off this, I always like doing these on these day segments to see what was going on in the world. And the number one movie worldwide was Hannibal. The number one song on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts was "Stutter" by Joe featuring Mystical. I don't think I've ever heard that song before.
It's probably one where if I looked it up and played it, I would recognize it because I was in high school around this time. So I'm sure it's something. I know who Mystical is. Joe, I don't know.
Yeah. Sure. And the number one album was an album that I actually own somewhere. Is Hot Shot by Shaggy.
Oh yeah. I'm familiar with that one for sure. Yeah.
But jumping into the pay-per-view, the first match we had was Big Show versus Raven for the Hardcore Championship, which I've completely forgotten this era. It was just hardcore 24/7 rules. So it was just a really insane match in general. But as Big Show was making his way to the ring, this random ninja woman attacked Big Show, which as I read up later, it gets later be revealed to be Tori.
Tori, yes.
And then you had lots of interference for this match, but obviously there's a lot of title changes as well throughout this time. I lost track of who had the title at any point in this match, but we had Crash Holly as a popcorn vendor, we had Hardcore Holly, we got Steve Blackman throughout there, and then but at the end of the match, Big Show ultimately won the title. But it was just an insane match, but it was really fun at the same time. Awesome. What did you think about this match?
No, yeah. For those who don't know, this is during the 24/7 Hardcore era. Malcolm, I actually have a Blu-ray. This is the Hardcore Championship Blu-ray, and a good chunk of this, it literally has almost every 24/7 Hardcore match on there. So I've seen all these 24/7 Hardcore matches, and some of them do get repetitive here and there. A lot of the matches on Raw and SmackDown as well would just it would start out as something, and then another guy would run out, or they'd go to the outside or go to the back, and somebody else would attack, and blah blah blah. And you saw that in this one. It's just multiple people. I always forget that Billy Gunn was in that mix for a little while because I think he even won it at some point in this match, for a minute. But like I said, I think Crash won it for a minute. I think Billy Gunn wins it for a minute. Raven gets it back from him because he comes in, I think, as the champion, and then Big Show finally beats him for the title, and he would have a little short run, as the Hardcore champion for a little bit. It's a lot of plunder. It's some signs and trash cans and whatever, that sort of thing. But the crowd has fun with it for what it is. It didn't go on too long, and it's not a bad way to just get it out of the way on the show. Just get it done.
But then we had a couple of backstage interviews. Kurt Angle being interviewed for his match, talking about how he felt his matches. It was basically just standard promo stuff for him. And then you got the standard tag team can they coexist promo between Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero.
Of course.
And obviously we never. You've got the tag team in the same match but against each other. They always have to ask if they can coexist, which gets repetitive after a while.
Yeah, I mean, and then the Benoit Eddie thing, even that radical stuff wouldn't last very long. Eddie would go on to do the Latino Heat thing with China for a little while, right after this. Or I think he had already, whatever. He he would actually go off to rehab very soon because he wasn't involved in the invasion angle at all. And then Benoit would get hurt at Backlash 2 pay-per-views from now. So, I mean, they were kind of still partners, but not really around this time.
Yeah, but it leads into the Fatal 4-Way match with Jericho versus Benoit versus X-Pac and versus Eddie Guerrero. And yeah, it's one of those ones, like I've said this in the past, say what you want about Chris Benoit, like despite outside things, he was a great wrestler. Like, and this match was, I would argue this match is probably up there and is one of his best. Is like, because I think this whole Fatal 4-Way match, I think was good. Because like you had no idea who was winning at any point in times. Like there was so many near falls and stuff. It was just so much fun. Chris Jericho ended up coming out for the win, but it was a really fun match. Austin, what did you think about the match?
No, this match is super entertaining. Yeah, it's one of the best like 4-ways from around that time. I mean, no surprise given the fact you've got 4 really good workers in here, and they just gave them like 12 minutes to just go out. So, Malcolm, it's a 12 minutes of nonstop, just like from the bell. It's just nonstop. Like, this guy hits one thing, this guy hits another thing, boom, boom. There's no downtime, and they don't even do a lot of the thing that they do in some 4-ways where they, send a guy or two to the outside for a little while, and 2 guys work, and then another 2 guys work. Like most of the time, they're kind of in there mingling the whole time. But yeah, the last 5 minutes of this thing is nuts. There's some really great near falls, and yeah, I'd kind of forgotten who won around this time. But eventually, right after this, Benoit and Jericho would become a tag team for a little while, for like the next month or so, because it would eventually lead post WrestleMania to a 3-way where Jericho, Benoit, and Stone Cold Steve Austin were in the 3-way, and that's where Benoit gets hurt. So they were kind of a tag team right after this eventually. But this is really, really fun. Don't sleep on this match if you go watch it. It's really, really good.
Yeah. And then we have a block of backstage stuff. We've got a quick shot of Triple H banding his wrists, where happens a lot still now. But then we get a backstage segment of Vince telling Regal that he knows exactly what to do about the match between Stephanie and Trish, which gets revealed later on that he really doesn't. And then randomly they have Test give his thoughts on the match, and Rich, who says they'll find out who the biggest trash bag hoe is.
Because he had a history with both Stephanie and Trish, because Trish was the manager of TNA, Test and Albert, and then of course they actually continue to reference, as long as he's employed there, the almost marriage of him and Stephanie that got ruined by Triple H at least. So at least they appreciate the continuity there a little bit.
Yeah. And then we get a shot of William Regal chasing after Trish, trying to talk to her, but she just wants to get out for his match, which leads into Stephanie McMahon versus Trish Stratus, which, as I found out, this was actually Trish's first pay-per-view singles match, which and for what it was, I think it was a decent first outing for her, and it's just one of those ones, like when Regal came out, I was like, it was obvious Regal didn't really know what Vince wanted him to do. And I've ended up helping Stephanie win, and then but for what it was, the match was a lot of fun. And yeah, but also, what did you think about?
Yeah, this match is actually more fun than you might think it is. On paper, given the fact that Trish had barely any wrestling experience around this time. Stephanie had barely wrestled at all either, maybe a match here or there, despite being the women's champion a year before this and hardly ever defending the title. But yeah, they kept this match very simple. A lot of it was kind of a brawl, to a degree, just a lot of brawling spots. The stuff they did in the ring was very simple: snap mares, hair mares, a hurricanrana or two, some hip tosses, things like that. You could tell Malcolm, they probably rehearsed this match a couple of times. It looked very kind of rehearsed for what it was. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing when you've got 2 women like this who don't have a lot of wrestling experience. It actually came off pretty good, more than you might think. And the Regal stuff, he lays out Trish. And I think this would eventually lead to a pretty infamous segment where Vince like made Trish bark like a dog and like did this kind of like dog segment with her that was kind of infamously bad around that time. But yeah, they had a little thing for a little while, and then she would eventually kick him in the balls at WrestleMania. So that's kind of what it led to, eventually, because that's kind of the payoff there.
Yeah, and then after the match, we get a backstage segment of Vince just yelling at Regal about what he did, and then he makes a match of Regal and Stephanie versus Trish and Vince on Raw the next day, which I didn't read up about what happened in that match.
I believe that's the thing where Stephanie, I think, slaps Trish, and they kind of Vince turns heel on Trish during that match. Yeah. From what I remember, is it just becomes a big pile on Trish in that match.
Yeah. But then we get Michael Cole asking if Stone Cold was ready. Stone Cold just doesn't say anything and just walks out of the ring.
Well, Cole has the worst awkward, like scripted question ever. He goes, "Stone Cold, are you ready to enter hell?" I was like, that's so stupid. Michael Cole, you're a tool. He's such a nerd. I don't know. Just
but then we get into Triple H versus Stone Cold in the 3 stages of Hell match, which I believe is the very first one as well.
Yes.
Which, and I think like these 3 stages of Hell matches, I think are a lot of fun. But I was like, especially the one recently with Cody and Drew. But it's like with this, we had the first match being a singles match, then we had the second match being a street fight. The third match was in a steel cage, but the match itself I thought was a really good match. It was brutal as well. I was like, there was definitely like Stone Cold was like they were both really bleeding near the end. It was like, but it was just really brutal. And then after the match, when you thought like Stone Cold was sort of done for, it was like he just hits a stun on Triple H at the after the match. It was like, but I thought the match was good. But Austin, what do you think of Triple H versus Stone Cold?
No, I think this is like a 5-star classic, and I've seen this match quite a bit. This one was on a Triple H like compilation DVD from around this time. Like maybe they put out like a year later when he was coming back. So I saw this match quite a bit in my kind of early DVD collecting years. I think the first fall is kind of okay. I think they're just kind of getting their feelers out. They're just having kind of a standard match. Stone Cold hits the stunner, wins. The second fall is where it picks up. That's where it gets brutal. It gets nasty. There's a brutal bump where Triple H takes a back body drop onto the announce table and he lands like right on his tailbone. Looks really brutal. It was weird seeing Stone Cold and Triple H using a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire because that's like a Mick Foley thing from this time. So it was a little weird seeing them do spots on that. But the chair gets involved. They're both bleeding all over the place. The crowd got really into it. It's really brutal. And the cage match, just kept it right going. They had a finish where they did like a double knockout spot essentially, where when Triple H had the sledgehammer, Stone Cold had the 2x4. They hit each other, and then Triple H lands on him, and gets the pinfall kind of by accident. The only thing I disagree with this, Malcolm, is I disagree with Triple H going over in this match. I've always kind of disagreed with that because you're a month away from WrestleMania. Stone Cold had won the Rumble, so he already had the match, at WrestleMania guaranteed. But I think you should have had him go over here to keep him strong, and then you could have had him and The Rock both go over strong, on this show leading into Rock and Stone Cold. That's where it's going. Triple H didn't need this win because he ends up fighting The Undertaker in a random match at WrestleMania that year, that they kind of hastily kind of put together, in the weeks leading up to Mania. So I don't think you needed this. I think you could have had Austin go over here, and it would have made the crowd extra happy, but that's what the stunner at the end was for. But this match is great. The match placement's a little weird because it's right in the middle of the show. You would think a match like this would be at the end of the show, but they saved the title match for the end.
Then next up, we had a shot of the White Censor group just shown doing a prayer before the match, which was a little bit weird, but it is what it is.
It's the cult thing. They're doing like a cult chant. Like a cult, whatever.
And then you had Taz come out to join JR on commentary because the next match was Steven Richards versus Jerry the King Lawler. Rich, for whatever reason, they had Jerry Lawler out on commentary for half the show before he comes out to do his match.
Yes. They don't give him any no stretch time, no warm-up time for you, Jerry. Just take your jacket off, you've got your tights on, and hop in the ring, and let's get it going.
This match was kind of a read for the stipulation, because it was like if Jerry if Jerry won, then Cat gets naked. But if Stephen wins, then Cat has to join White to censor, which we'll get into the fallout after this because I think because the fallout is quite hilarious with the situation. But it's one of those ones like Ben Lawler was supposed to be a heel announced, but yet wrestling as a face in this match. But the match itself was okay. It's like for what it is for a Jerry the King Lawler match. Like I think he's had better. I've seen better matches from him in the past. But also, what do you think of Stephen Richards?
They never gave Jerry Lawler in WWF. They never gave him any like super big things to do there, even though he was a very accomplished wrestler, from Memphis. I mean, he's the king of Memphis wrestling. But yeah, anytime he stepped in the ring, it was because he was defending somebody, or just some random thing with a mid Carter. He had a match with Taz like a year before. Like he had a little feud with Taz. That was kind of random. I mean, the match itself was fine. I liked watching Jerry work. He's a really good worker. Like he has great body language. He has good psychology. So he made the most out of it as he could. You're also following an all-timer, between Stone Cold Triple H right afterwards. So like the crowd, just like doesn't really care. But yeah, it's a match that could have been saved, I think, for TV, even though the stipulation wouldn't work, with Cat getting naked or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, it probably would have gone over better on like a Raw or something like that. But yeah, what you alluded to, the fallout was actually more interesting because Cat would go to basically I can't remember if she quit or got fired. But there was a whole thing. Yeah.
From what I read, she got fired 2 days later.
Yeah, she got fired because she was protesting like where the story, like she didn't like the storyline, whatever. And they're like, okay, well, you're not really like interesting enough for us to keep you around. And then Jerry was with the Cat at the time. So Jerry quit as well. So Jerry was also gone. So that led to them bringing in Paul Heyman to be Jim Ross's replacement color commentator. And let me tell you, Malcolm, it was one of the best happy accidents ever because this from here to Survivor Series, where you have Jim Ross and Paul Heyman, is my favorite short-lived commentary team of all time. I love Jim Ross and Paul Heyman around this time. They were great. So it actually was kind of a happy accident that worked out okay. And then he would come back at right at the Raw after Survivor Series 2001 later this year.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure in that time, I think from what I read, Jerry and Kat got divorced in that time as well.
Right. Yeah, it was not a pretty situation around that time.
But then after the match, we had Michael Cole interviewing the Brothers of Destruction, which nothing really interesting there. Then we had the triple threat tag team match with the Dudleys defeating Brothers of Destruction and Edge of Christian for the tag team titles. And it was a tables match as well. I mean, I don't. This is a question I've always had. Is there any rules that say that the tables match can't end by going through the announcer's table, or does it have to be one of those?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Would it count? I guess that would be referee's discretion, or do they have to be your standard tables? I don't know. I guess that would be up to the referee. But I mean, the Spanish one was already destroyed at this point, so they would only have one option left.
Well, yeah. That was why I kind of wondered that. But I thought the match itself was pretty good. It was like you had Undertaker and Kane like dominating a lot of the match until you ultimately had Rikishi and Haku interfere, causing them to lose. But I mean, it's one of those ones like with Undertaker and Kane dominating most of the match. The finish also kind of fell flat a little bit because the other two teams didn't really do much finishing moves. All the finish was basically Christian sitting up a table with the Dudleys capitalizing on it.
Yeah, Edge goes to go for a spear. He goes into the table. The table doesn't break, which that looked like it sucked when it didn't break. So he like hurt his shoulder on that. And then it's just kind of like Christian sets up a table, and Bubba just kind of strolls out there, and they just 3D through the table. Like, it's not much of a build up to it. Like, I wish there had been a little more back and forth before it, like tease one other thing, tease this, tease that. And even then, Malcolm, I actually wish it had been like more like maybe an elimination match, so you could have had a little more table action in this one, like maybe eliminate one team through a table first and then have a build up, with maybe some other table teases. Like it seemed like the crowd wanted more table stuff, and like when it's just the first person to go through a table loses, that's not a whole lot of like build up to it,
Um, but but then we had The Rock doing an interview with Michael Cole about the match, which was in his usual Rock stuff. But then The Rock defeating Kurt Angle, which I thought was a pretty good main event. And like you had Big Show coming out mid match doing a run, which was a very, very slow run.
They hit his music and he strolls out there real slow, and he just slowly gets in the ring and he chokeslams Mike Chioda and he chokeslams Rock and he chokeslams Angle, and then he just leaves and they play his music on the way out too, which was like really weird. You know, because most of the time when you have a run in, you know, that's kind of in the middle of a match, sometimes they hit music, but I feel like they shouldn't. It should, like, if you're gonna run in, make it a run in. And Big Show, for God's sakes, it's called a run in, not a stroll in.
Yeah. But the match itself, it was definitely super sensitive, especially like near the end of the match, where it was like Kurt was yelling at Rock to tap out and all that. But there also seemed to be some moments where it looked like the ref was just slow at counting because Kurt was supposed to kick out, but he wasn't kicking out in time.
Kurt was always bad about that around this time. He was always slow on his kickouts. He had some really scary ones around the time, where he would just like, it's not even much of a kickout. He just kind of like throws his arm up, you know, at the last second. I think it's a combination of that and Hebner. I'm not a big fan of Earl Hebner. I know some people are. I'm not as big a fan of him. I kind of wish Chioda had been like the referee to stick around, you know, instead of Hebner, because there's some great stuff in this match. It has an awesome near fall, Malcolm, the one where Rock went into the exposed turnbuckle and then Angle hit him with the angle slam, and then it was a close 2 count. Like, that's a great near fall. They have a couple of good ones where Rock hits the people's elbow and it's only a 2, like legit near falls. And then unfortunately they screw up the finish. Hebner, you know, when Rock hits the rock bottom, Hebner was supposed to count 3, and he had the awkward thing where he doesn't count 3, and Angle didn't legitimately kick out. I guess he thought maybe it was supposed to be like 2 rock bottoms or whatever, and it was just supposed to be 1. And then apparently Angle has talked about in interviews. What happened after that is they improvised. Rock hits him with another one, and right before he goes to pin him, what he said was, if you can't hear it, Rock yelled at Hebner, "Count the mother effing finish," very loud. So Angle's talked about that in interviews. So and then he finally counts it. I mean, the crowd still popped for it, you know, because the crowd was, you know, hot on the Rock, and it was the Rock getting the title back, you know, right before WrestleMania. Obviously, this would lead to Rock versus Austin at WrestleMania. But if not for that, like, kind of screwed up finish, like, this would be a pretty awesome match. Like, even with the you know, interference of Big Show, that's very random if you're not like, don't know what's going to happen, but they always had great chemistry. I always thought Rock and Angle always worked really well together, and were really crisp and clean. Angle's so good around this time. He's only been wrestling for a year and a half, and he's so damn good around this time. He's great. So but you know, as a way to send the crowd home happy, you know, Rock winning the title back and ending it on a big note.
But Austin, what did you think about the pay-per-view overall?
This pay-per-view is excellent. Yeah, if you haven't gone back and watched it, because even, to be fair, Malcolm, even the worst match on the show, Steven Richards and Jerry Lawler, probably, is like not in itself a badly worked match. Like, they work a perfectly fine little match. It just has like no heat because it's coming after Stone Cold and Triple H. You know, the opener is like probably the second worst one after that. You know, it's still fun plunder. Trish and Stephanie, excuse me, still worked a really fun kind of brawl, you know, sort of match there. And you have legitimately 3 great matches on the show. Like, you have the 4-way, which is a really, really great, you know, IC title, fun, fast-paced 4-way. The main event is a really fun title match with some good heat. And then, you have the absolute, like, match of the year candidate between Stone Cold and Triple H right in the middle of the show. So, people shouldn't sleep on this. This is a great, great show. Really good.
Yeah. But if that's the end of and for me, I've pretty much the same as I thought the pay-per-view was excellent from start to finish. Like and like as you said, like even the like sort of like lesser matches like the Steven Richards and Jerry Lawler and Stephanie versus Trish, they were a lot of fun for what they were. It was like
Yeah.
Like it really wasn't a moment in this pay-per-view I felt like I was bored or like.
No, it flies by. It's a quick show.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the matches are entertaining. It flies by. Like there's no downtime. Yeah, no, I mean this is a really crisp, clean show. Yeah, for what it is,
Yeah.
it's really good.
But yeah, with that it's definitely a 5 out of 5 for me.
I would be close to giving it a 5, about as close to a 5 out of 5 as you can get, just because there's no bad matches, and you have 3 really great banger matches on this one. Which if you have at least 3 like great 4 to 5 star matches, something like that on a show, like that's a very recommendable show for sure. And again, this stretch between here, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania are all great if you just want to watch the whole like road to WrestleMania. Essentially, it's really great around this time.
But anyway, it's time to spin the wheel and see what the next pay-per-view we'll be talking about will be. And that is not what I need up there. There we are.
It looks like the wheel of movies over on the Movie Hero Network. the big bob of pay-per-views. Yes.
It's basically a discolored Pac-Man.
Yes, right. Long. Oh no, there you go.
Well, we've got No Way Out of No Way Out pay-per-views, but we're going to jump 6 years.
There you go. No Way Out 2007. So what are you looking forward to? Yeah, this is a interesting time where WWE was kind of in a transitional period, kind of the end of the Ruthless Aggression era. So it's interesting. Oh no, it's a pay-per-view where they just have a tag team match in the main. That's weird. I always thought those pay-per-views are weird when it's just like a random tag team match, There you go.
But it definitely looks like it's going to be an entertaining one. But there'll be the next pay-per-view we talk about. But awesome, we can be on you online.
Yeah, 2 main places. If you want to see me talk more wrestling, you can see me over on the Lonely Marks Wrestling podcast with myself, JPO, and Richie every week talking wrestling, and that has its own channel. And I link that in our Movie Hero Network Facebook group, where you can find a whole bunch of different shows in there and other creators, posting their content. And the Movie Hero Network, where you can hear me mostly talking about movies over there and doing all kinds of fun shows. And you'll see Malcolm over there fairly frequently. So come join us.
Yep. And speaking of that, you can find me in an hour and a half.
An hour and a half on the Movie Hero Network. Yes.
Talking about true movies based on a true story. But it's going to be. But you can also find me on Tape Productions hosting Rankum every week. Next week we're talking about the top 12 best supporting actor winners at the Oscars. And then. In the past, we'll be talking about No Way Out from 2007. And I pop up here and there pretty much wherever anyone's talking about movies, I'm probably there. But that is the end of it for this week. Malcolm,
are you ready to enter?